Hello, everybody. Welcome to 26.1 AI podcast that I host with my friend,
Brian Ray.
and I'm Don Shu. And we put on this podcast because we both care about AI. However, currently we're living in uncertain and unprecedented times. We just don't have any other words for that. Um,
To say the least.
how long?
Unexpected.
How long have you been hunkered down? I know you've been practicing social distancing for a while, Brian.
Yep. I'm going stir crazy. I'll be honest with you. I've been here for a couple of weeks. Went to the grocery store a couple of times, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yep. It's been pretty surprising. Not how I expected to spend the time.
Yeah, I've spent an entire year bedridden before, so maybe that's helping me cope with this a little bit. Um,
It's kind of like now we are up to your pancreatitis episode.
I've had worse. I've had worse. Um, but certainly, we wanted to check in with our listeners, let you all know we're not gone away. Many of you probably don't know. We published 2 a.m. on Tuesday mornings, and we missed last week. But we want to talk and discuss how best to serve all of you. And we're looking at what's going on, right, Brian?
Yeah, and we're just raising our hands saying that we're still here. We see a lot of new podcasters podcasting lately, and they have a lot of words to say, and I believe our silence is words in itself.
So we'll be seeking guests. If you have something to say about COVID-19 that is related to data science, analytics, ML, AI, we'd love to talk to you. Brian and I, we've been musing a little bit about how we get to predictive. Right now, there's a lot of data science. There's a lot of analysis of the current reality, but we're not really there yet where we have the data or the kind of signals we need to start getting predictive and keeping people safe. So we're not shut down.
Well, it's a great time to talk about predictive because everybody's talking about predictive, and these concepts that we talk about on the show every week are coming up in the mainstream. People are checking their predictive graphs daily, and they're looking at new data sets daily. Whether those get translated into the terms that a trained data scientist would use, that's uncertain. But certainly, people wish they had a crystal ball and they could see what the future is predicting.
Well, the other problem, I think, for folks where their current reality, they don't see a lot of disease incidents, are lulled into thinking there's not a problem, right? And that's the opposite of thinking predictively and just accepting the fact that the future reality is going to look nothing like what the present state of affairs may present.
Well, and I think that the uncertainty about the modeling, people want to question the system overall. I believe that the modeling is as good as it can be given the data that's provided. And I don't think you should disregard all the modeling that's out there, but there is certainly discrepancies between what people are counting and how they're counting and all of that, and who's getting tested and who's not getting tested.
Oh, yeah. That's an entire episode. We can talk about the quality of the data and how it's collected, and then also the practices, right? Because we've gotten so many different approaches and responses to how to deal with the pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of responses, and people are diving deeper into data sources, trying to understand what has just happened and what will happen, and that's an episode on its own.
But getting to that predictive, I expect will go more towards the model that's been practiced in South Korea, where they were a flashpoint, and it's a very densely populated country. They could have very easily turned into the worst incidents of COVID-19, and they didn't. They were really disciplined. They were very aggressive in really following a predictive mindset, is what I like to think of it.
And I think that's the big distinction between Westerner and Easterner thinking is the idea of conformist behavior.
Well, I mean, South Korea is kind of an outlier. It's you're familiar with the culture a little bit. I mean, I'm half Korean. There's definitely a lot of individuality in there, but there's certain social norms for sure. But there's also some similarities to Japanese culture in terms of there's an animist tradition, and tied to that is there's a very pointed cultural value on hygiene.
Is it nail that sticks out gets hammered in at all there? If you're not wearing your mask, then you're a troublemaker?
I think that's probably more descriptive of Japanese culture. Um, that's the sense I get of Japanese culture. It's the East Asian culture I understand the least, know the least about. But in Korea, I don't know. A lot of people are willing to go their own way or provoke some waves, particularly in urban centers, since there's a lot of anonymity in there. Um, but
But what is Don? Besides Antarctica, what is the safest place on Earth right now?
I, I have a lot of faith in South Korea. I'd go there right now. Let's go. Flights are cheap.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
getting there could be a problem, right? Isn't there exposure the journey along?
the flights are really empty. Anywhere there are still flights.
Yeah,
I don't
you're
even
already
I
6 feet
don't
apart.
I don't even know if there's any flights flying to South Korea from the United States right now. Um, but the flights are super empty. Once you arrive anywhere, there's a quarantine protocol. So, but we're getting long here. We're gonna put together some good material for everybody. But we just wanted
Yeah,
everybody to know we're here. We care about you. Think predictively and act predictively, so you're safe.
yeah. I saw the invites come along, and some great guests coming on speaking specifically about these little episode that we're going through right now, and I'm looking forward to picking their brain. And obviously, people are very distracted by this, and those who could do something about it are pretty busy doing something about it. I hope.
Well,
But
if anybody needs help and they want to get the message out, use us as a bullhorn. Please contact us, right? I'm Don at
absolutely.
shoe.com, and we've got a contact link on the website, I believe, right? That
Yeah, you can
Russ, you can.
message me on Twitter at Brian Ray. So you can Twitter me there, or find Don, and we're happy to have you on the show. And we want to spread the word and knowledge of what's going on here from the perspective of the trained practitioners.
Yeah. And if you're out there working on AI, ML, and it intersects with public health at all, I might be emailing you asking if you've got something to share.
Yep. Well, thanks, Don, for jumping on. I know this wasn't the 26.1 minutes, but we wanted to raise our hand and say we're still here and happy to talk on this topic as always.
It's important to us, and we care about all of you. So keep
And we're
coming
going to
back.
get through this together. Yep. We're going to come together, get through this together, and dispel some of the myths out there using data.
Yep. It's an episode. It's a very strange episode, but it's an episode. It's not the normal day process. So,
Yeah, it's not the first time this has happened to the world either, but it's a different flavor for sure.
yeah. First time in our memory, though, right? So,
Absolutely. First time in my life. And, I got a call from my daughter, concerned and everything else, and I can't say there's no reason to be concerned, but it's going to change a lot of things. There's also some reasons to feel safe statistically, especially in her age range.
yes, there's there's data. There's some truth that we're discerning from everything that's going on. So, well, I miss everybody. We'll be back soon.
Okay. Thanks, Don. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.